All right, here we go. Good morning, y'all. We got 2 minutes until the 9:30 opening bell. And yeah, I'm ready to dive into the charts today. So I got this four-leaf clover here on my chart. Just going to let it float around. It's to remind me that, good luck is possible. And I'm saying that because I had a few unlucky breaks the last number of trades and just need to reframe the mindset to first accept that, bad luck is totally possible, and so is good luck. All right, so diving into this open, I'm kind of feeling a little bit more like bearish. Now, I'm not certain if price is going to want to come up here first and then deliver down and then up, or if it's just going to want to come down. So I'm kind of open to both ideas. If it comes up here, I could probably short if there's an SMT down into here. Otherwise, I'm kind of a little more interested in longs overall because it fits more with my bullish bias on the 4-hour. However, we have lots of liquidity down in here, so I am expecting some kind of rebalance. All right, so let's check out the open. So far, a little stop hunt here locally. 20-something seconds left on this candle, so it could still... We have multiple SMTs, bearish SMTs. So this candle here looks like it's going to want to form a big breaker. It's a little breaker with a big candle. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, closing below, forming this breaker. It's kind of a... Well, it's actually not a breaker. It's an order block on top of a mitigation block, but I don't have an order block label, so whatever. The breaker is actually right here, and I don't think it closed below the breaker. Nope. So this candle took liquidity up here and down here. But my assumption is with news low still intact that we're coming down here, if not lower. We have a huge regular trading hours gap up below. But we shall see. It doesn't have to go down all the way there. So here we're at previous week's equilibrium. Midnight open is this other blue line. Previous month's equilibrium's right there. 8:30 open is down here. 9:30 open price is right here, these blue dotted lines. And then I got the hourly opens marked on the chart too. So 8 o'clock, you can see open, low, high, close. 9 o'clock, open, high, maybe a low. We'll find a close somewhere. We still got 27 minutes left on this 1-hour candle. Looking a little indecisive at the moment. Whoa, look at YM. YM is just taken off, ES is consolidating, and NQ is dropping. So completely uncoupled markets. So the 1 hour has balanced itself out on NQ. We are forming some nice targets up in here for a long at some point. Some trend line liquidity. So while I'm waiting for this, I don't see anything that's going to happen that I'm going to be able to partake in, I don't think. This is just kind of ugly to me. It's probably going to rip, but 15 minutes, we have an SMT. There's consolidation in this. So 80 bucks per contract. But this is not looking very nice to me. I'm seeing this consolidation within the inversion breaker if it were to turn into that. So it's making me feel a little less probable. So I'm gonna let this play out for just a minute and be right back. Remove this position tool because I'm not interested in that long. Don't want that there. Alrighty, didn't look like I missed much. That's ugly. We'll just wait. Looks like this candle is going to close above this gap, possibly. Forming an inversion. Now this would be a bullish breaker. Right here. There's a 15-minute bullish SMT. Gonna confirm. But this is just ugly. I can't partake in this. And the time isn't matching either. It's 9:40 something, 5:44. This is not price action I would trust. ES is still sideways. And YM's doing a bit of a bearish consolidation. And I mean, sometimes the good luck is staying out of the trash. All right, first presented fair value gap, 944 candle. So here I want to see price move away from this one way or the other. Well, I guess while I'm waiting here, I'm going to close my eyes and do a quick visualization. I'm going to imagine my model forming on the charts. I'm imagining it looking really nice. Let's do a bullish inversion. And I'm imagining price closing above the inversion with all my entry criteria. I'm imagining marketing in to the trade. So I'm going to get my order fill. I set my stop loss. I set my take profit. Price hovers around my entry. A little bit of red, a little bit of green, a little bit of red, a little bit of green. Just watching price now working through the green, coming up and hitting my take profit. No emotions, just part of the game. Similarly, I'm going to imagine the same inversion, same market order in, order filled. I'm going to set my stop loss. I'm going to set my take profit. I'm watching the candles hover around my entry, a little bit of green and a little bit of red. Now the candles are working their way down, further into drawdown on the trade, and candles are working their way down, hit my stop loss. It's fine because I accepted the risk beforehand. I know that the risk I put up is my fee to enter the trade. No problem, part of the game. And third, I'm going to imagine my inversion forming, but the candle closes way above the inversion, too far for me to market in, so I set a limit order above the inversion. I'm just watching the candlesticks push higher and higher, with my limit order sitting there. Higher and higher they go until they hit my take profit with my limit order still sitting there. And that's fine too. I expect this. This is part of the game. Alrighty. Starting to sync up a little bit. All three assets are pushing bullishly. So this trendline liquidity is taken. This high here was taken. Price is working in a 4-hour fair value gap right here. That's previously been resistance. There is no bearish SMT. I also don't trust this. It just doesn't look nice. So we have that same, I'll just leave it there. So here we have this fair value gap, a volume imbalance right there. So we'll close below, inverting this fair value gap. This candle taps into this volume imbalance. This is not in the macro. Currently it is in the macro. Sweeping the previous 1-hour high without bearish SMT though. And so I don't have bearish SMT. This is looking pretty ugly. I'd rather wait. Now we're forming this trendline liquidity here. So I do feel a little more bearish with what I'm seeing here. But I'm not going to short this. $15-minute chart. Looking sideways. You can see the candles just kind of consolidating. 15-minute looks bullish-ish. Still have a bunch of liquidity down in here. One hour dug deep into the previous candle. 4 hours tapping into this gap that keeps resisting price. I think it'll break this time. I think it's going to come down and go higher. So YM is the leading asset, ES is the middle asset on the 15-minute chart, and NQ is still just chilling, the lagging asset. So I'd like to see NQ catch up, do a stop hunt and catch up. And it can just grind up. Doesn't have to come back down for this liquidity. But if it doesn't, I don't have trade. All right, 5 minutes left on this 1 hour candle. We'll see where it closes. It swept this candle's high. See if it closes above that high or not. And that tells us if it supports expansion. Potentially. Nothing is for certain. Let's look up the higher time frames a little bit. So we took previous week's low, started delivering bullishly. On the daily, took internal range liquidity, came back to more than 50% of this range here. So here's my target, is this consequent encroachment of the daily fair value gap. But I need a retracement to get in on that move. We shall see. Back to the 1 hour chart. And the 15 is going to look like it's going to 15, you know, came down, balanced out, retested the breaker, balanced this fair value gap a couple of times here. And then it looks like it's going to give a strong bullish closure, which that's indicating to me that it might not come back down. It might just be one-sided delivery. And if that's the case, just is. So we got 3 minutes left on this candle, this 1 hour candle. See where it goes, what it does. All right, 2 minutes. So we tapped into the very bottom of the daily fair value gap right here. We got 1 minute left until 10 a.m. Look at this like trend line liquidity. So steep. There's not, this is just not pretty though. Not clean. It's not even pretty, it's not even clean. Alrighty, 20 seconds. So the 1 hour closes above the previous 1 hour. Now this one's trading up, taking out the previous 1 hour high. Leaving an imbalance here on the 15-minute. SMT is forming currently. So here's this unfilled gap, well, could be gap, an imbalance in the candles. I'm expecting some kind of fill of it. Five-minute chart, cleaning up a little bit. We got out of that consolidation. We still have news lows intact. All this trend line liquidity doesn't have to come down. It's just looking like it wants to. Okay, SMT is no longer present. There's a tailless candle on the 15-minute. 1 minute chart, just grinding up. And so look, I'm glad I didn't even mess around with this inversion right here. This price came down really far. So, you know, if you would have marketed in up there, that would have been a 246 tick stop loss to be safe. And it would have finally just gotten profits right there in this candle. Which it's been doing this a lot lately, coming back down for this low. And that's why I'm saying like I've been having bad luck lately. Usually with my inversions, I can do something like this. You know, be like, oh, there's a first presented fair value gap. I can put it below that. And I could have gotten my 2R. It keeps doing this to me. So it's kind of how price has been moving lately. And just last night decided I'm going to run wide stops for a little while for this exact reason. And then also seeing this consolidation tells me it's not ready to distribute. So coming down to rebalance the 15-minute. Oh, there was a little volume imbalance on the 1 hour I missed. These are important. Look at this right here. This tiny little volume imbalance is what it wanted. I didn't notice it because it was just so small. And that makes sense why it dug so deep down into this candle when it was rebalancing. It wanted that volume imbalance. Usually we want to see price stay above the 50% of the previous candle, like here 50%. Here's the 50%. And here roughly is the 50%. So we want to see this candle not really come below the body, say, or maybe 50% is right there, but you get the point. Oh boy, I don't know. I'm curious to see what, oh, excuse me, what one of my mentors is doing. Looks like he's doing nothing. Looks like he sees this as a level 2. But isn't partaking in anything here. Alrighty, so, oh, look away for a minute and, oh, this is the chart. Look at that. 10:05. Let's see. So we got some of this distribution now. There's no way to get in on this for me. Buy side was swept, but this is just ugly. There's nothing here. There's no SMT. So here, this trend line liquidity that I was pointing out earlier, it's all getting balanced. I feel like it wants to dump, even though the 1 hour closed above, signaling continuation. I don't know. I like these gaps here for that. Like that actually looks like nice price action, but so here is this inversion. This is just ugly. and huge too. Didn't close below, but you still have a 250, 90 tick stop loss depending on where you want to place it. So close below. Here's the first inversion. I mean, yeah, that would have been like, probably I would have pushed it up to 300 based off what I've been seeing lately, which, how much was that per contract? 140 per contract. But no SMT. And ugly. Not gonna partake in that. Leaving some targets up here though a little bit. A little bit of trend line liquidity. And then of course these gaps for later. What is it? 1010 basically, 1009. We still haven't, so here's this kind of opening range. We've hardly left it. Whereas ES and YM are the leading and middle assets. NQ is still, or leading in, yeah, leading in middle. NQ is still lagging. All right, well, so I'm not going to have, this is into the 950 to 1010 macro. I'm not going to have any, gosh. YM looks like it wants to give the setup. Look at all these gaps. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab my breakfast. It's outside of macro, and I'm not seeing it clearly right here. I can't long here. I could long down here probably. Okay, what do we got going on here? Little breaker, first presented fair value gap. I'm not seeing it still. If anything, that's a continuation short to me. But no SMT. No SMT up here, I don't think either. So yeah. I'm just gonna watch this. I don't care for it. It's like tempting. I feel like I know where price is gonna go, but I don't feel like I should engage. That's a little tempting. That's so if it closed below here, but what was our overnight? We didn't expand a ton overnight, so we accumulated, manipulated. So yeah, it's still like AMD in my head. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But I need a retracement into some gap to even get long. Preferably like a 1 hour. There's no 1 hour gap. There's this rejection block. I don't really use rejection blocks like that. So I want long, but I just don't see it. YM probably gave it. I think I was eyeballing that earlier. Yes, I saw these gaps on YM. I was like, I don't even know. You can't even combine all those. Multiple fair value gaps though, but What are we at? An hour in the session so far? It's 10:30 New York time. There's this inversion. Like this looks clean on the lower time frames, but it doesn't look clean on the medium time frames. Effectively, the 15 minutes just consolidating and sideways. This is sideways. So like it starts to look a little clean through here. ES looks the cleanest right there, but it wouldn't have met my criteria. Similar kind of thing. It looks like it's building all this steep trendline liquidity here, just like it did here. I guess midnight open could have been my higher time frame level. I didn't think about that. But I still didn't have, this is not clean. See these tails and wicks right through here. So, and this is what happened to me exactly yesterday as I went into a trade where this was very wicky, had consolidation right here. I went in above the fair value gap and it came down and it stop hunted me real bad. It came way down into here. But this is the exact same thing. There was a 15-minute SMT and midnight open. So that could have been, I don't typically use midnight open, but that's like the higher time frame level that's there. Curious if I, went in above, close above that gap. It would have been in macro. Probably would have ran stop down here. for 1-to-1. 115 risk. So that was that was not obvious though. So I'm not too upset about it. I do think I'm going to close down the stream though. There's a lot telling me not to trade. The wicks and tails on these 1-minute candles. The 5-minute and the 5 minutes got wicks and tails. The 15 minutes consolidating. I might come back in like a half an hour or an hour when prices moved somewhere else. See if this cleans up. But that's at this point pretty clear to me that this, for at least right now, it's just going to be low probability conditions. So